things we need for this easy gnome DIY. We are needing, of course, our tumbling tower blocks. We need some styrofoam balls. I always order them online because they are the cheapest way to get the styrofoam balls in different sizes. You get just a bag full of different sizes. And of course I'm using my IKEA cork because I had that laying around, but you can also use a piece of cardboard, a piece of wood. It doesn't matter, just what you have laying around. I always love DIYs which are easy and they are budget friendly because we don't want to spend a lot of money. So this is what we need for our gnome ornaments. You see already I have my tumbling tower blocks on my table. My glue gun is green, so we are ready to make our gnome head. So this is, like I always say, most of the time DIYs I do, it is a little bit of an experiment. I did never make a gnome's head from tumbling tower blocks, so we will see how this will turn out. I am going to try to make 3 blocks together, and that is not the difficult part, of course. And just remove the glue immediately, so you have a block of 3. We are going to do on each side 2 blocks also, but we are going to do it a little lower, but try to get it on the same height as the other one next to it. So this one over here and one over here. Of course I should have glued it not totally to the end, so a little bit like this, because you don't need glue on the underside, and I already did, so don't do it just like me. And just immediately remove your glue and you get a little shape like this. We are going to get again 2 blocks and we are going to do it again a little piece lower, and also don't glue until the end, just a little bit, maybe 3/4, and just leave 1/4 open. And we are going to do this one and just glue it at least a little bit on the same height. So now we get a nice, it looks like a little fence. Of course you can use it as a fence, but we are going to try to build it further to a head. We are going to do again 3 blocks to each other, just squeeze away and just make it even. And again this one, and we're also going to do this one to each other. Now we have a block of 3 again. Just do some glue under here and just glue it on the top in the middle, and again remove your glue. What we're going to do right now, again we're going to take 2 blocks and we are going to glue this on this side. So we're gluing this way and a little bit on this way. Now we're going to squeeze it in, and always when I have my camera running I'm always making one big mess. I'm sorry about that, and I'm not really a clean worker. Some people always have the place where they are doing their DIYs totally clean. I am so jealous on that because I always making one big mess. So you see, now you have a 2-piece. We are going to do 3 blocks on top of each other, just this way, and another one. And of course, for everyone who doesn't want to see how I make this a gnome head, just skip forward. You are so free to do so, because not everyone is loving it. So, and I'm going to do it again on the top of this piece. And now we need a 2-piece, and one, and this one, and also this 2-piece we are going to glue on top of our head as a top. Later on we are going to do a little a bead on top of here. I don't know if I do a bead, or maybe I think I do a little styrofoam ball, and we are going to do on the top. But you see, this will be the base of our gnome head. And imagine that you have a styrofoam ball on top of here, and the beard over here, and the nose over here. But this is one head, and I'm going to make the second one, and then we are going to do a little piece of cork used as a base, but I'll show you that in a moment. Our two gnome heads are ready. I'm going to lay one away, and I'm going to take one cork from IKEA. They come as a set of two. They are for $2.49, so they are very cheap. But of course, you can use a little piece of cardboard or a little piece of wood, because it's only have to be a base. I'm going to turn around one cork. I'm turning around, and I'm laying my, you see already my head on top of here, and I'm going to cut out, I showed you with my knife a little bit, this way on the back side of my, so I only need this piece of my cork, because it is only a base on the back side of our gnome, because it can be an ornament, but you also can do a little twine on the back side, so you can work it in a kind of wreath for the Christmas season. That would always be great. On the side of your wreath you can get a nice gnome. So I will cut it out, and then I show it to you how it's really looking like. You see already on my table it is one big mess. What I did try, I had to make an example, so I before I could show you. My idea was just to make just this piece, but if you are doing your gnome head on top of here, of course this will work, the top, but then you get your beard much too small, so this doesn't it doesn't work. So I did pull it away. I did get the other side, and I'm just get it measure out this way, so a little bit on the inside of here and a little bit on the inside of here, and then I made it longer. So you just have to have a wider space on the underside, or else you don't get away with your beard. So this was like I said, always an experiment. So I am going to glue this one. You see, now I have it on the back side. It's totally fitting over here. I have a little space over here, and I have a little space over here. You can see not too much, but just a little. Then you're going to turn it around, and you still have your the white you need for your beard, but of course your beard is not not totally in a square. Your beard had to be a little bit run off, so I'm going to cut off a little piece of this corner and a little piece of this corner. I showed you this better than my my English, but I am going to glue this on top of here, and then I'm going to cut off a little piece of this. So I take my glue, and I am going to measure it out for the last time. So this way it keeps a little bit in the middle, so a little bit glue over here. And I wish my glue gun was a little bit faster than this, because or else my glue on the other side is already dried up. So if you use a little bit different glue, is also fine too, because for this kind of piece, glue gun is not always the greatest. You see already, now he's a little bit, and I'm going to glue this on top of here, and just keep it as wide as you can, and just squeeze it and let it dry for a second. You see already I made one example how I did cut off a little piece of the sides. So I am using just a little piece of this one, so you can have the same measurement you have on the other one. So just cut it off, and be careful with your knife, but I think you already know that. So, and just break it off, and I will do the other side also, and then we're going to paint it in the white color. I turned over my placemat, and what I'm going to do, I take my white chalk paint, and what I'm going to do, I'm give both of them a white color. Also my base, because I think it looks a little bit more neat if you give it a nice color, even for the back side, because I like that a little bit better, but you don't have to do that. Of course, I am making it white, but I was also thinking maybe you can do some furniture wax on it, then you get a little bit of a rustic gnome. So if you like that more, a little bit of the farmhouse rustic, just give it a nice furniture wax coating on top of it. And I'm going to take two of my styrofoam balls, the bigger ones and the smaller ones, and I'm going to do them in the black color. I use there my school board paint. But for now, first I'm going to give both of them a nice white chalk paint color. So, but of course, I use white. You can use, like I always say, just do whatever you think is right. I will paint both of them white, and I paint the nose and the top of the head black. And then we are going to make, of course, we are still missing our fur for our beard. So then we are going to make the beard. Our gnomes are painted, and you just see also the backside I did in the white color. What we're going to do right now, we are going to take some piece of fur. You see here I have a nice gray throw. So I think you call it a throw. Here in the Netherlands we call it a vliesdeken, but I don't know. I thought it is called a throw. So previously, correct me if I am wrong. So I will take a piece out of this, and then we are going to make our beard. I did cut out from my fabric just a little piece. So you see, this is just a longer piece, and I'm going to cut it in half. So I have for each gnome, I will have the same white, and of course I will glue this on the back side. So first I will cut it in two, and then we're going to glue this on top of our gnome. So you see I did cut it in half, and what I'm going to do, I just lay my gnome under it in the middle, and I'm start in the middle gluing this way here, and then I'm work my way downstairs around the gnome's head. So and later on we will do, of course, his nose. So I'm going to do some glue inside of here so I have my first piece I am gluing. So just glue it totally straight to the first side of your head, so this way. And of course later on we will do the fur better. And now we're going to do this side. I hope you can see it. And we're working our way downstairs just around his head, also over here, and just glue it and just keep it in place for a little moment. Even when you use your glue gun, you still have to keep it in place for a little moment until it is dried up, or else your work will be for nothing. So now I'm going to do this way, and you just see I'm just doing some glue over here just around his head, and just again work your way down the gnome's head, and just again keep it in place. And I know this takes a little bit long for you to watch, but I just wanted to show you, you see, this way, so you get the nice shape of the head still. But later on when we are going to work with our fur, you will see this will turn out very nice, but we have to keep it in place for a little moment. And what I'm going to do right now is just do some glue over here. I will do a new glue stick inside of here and just glue your way around it. And then we're going to do the back side and just flap it over and just wait until it is dried up. And now we already have a big big beard. Of course I'm going to trim it, and and it will probably it will look like a beard. So the gnome is on the front, is the beard on top of here. I did turn it around, and I'm just gluing the sides to each other. And you see I just measured out that they come really close to each other. What I'm going to do, because I want to keep the beard a little bit inside of how do you say it, not triangle, maybe triangle, I hope I say it right, but here in the Netherlands we call it een punt. So it has to be that the beard is a little bit this way on the underside. So I'm going to glue this, of course, over here, and this one a little bit over here, and also inside of here, just to try to get a little bit the shape of a little point on the underside. So I will glue this together, but there's no rhyme or reason how to do it. Just glue and just feel a little bit what the best way is to glue it, that you get a nice shape on the underside. And here you see how our gnome is already turned out, and it's a little bit more like a heavy metal heavy metal from a rock band. No, but I hope with the nose he still looks a little bit more like a little bit of the gnome we know. So I am going to take my nose, and of course you see already these are the pieces I did with the black schoolboy paint. 1, 2 for the head, and of course 1 for the nose. So I'm taking it off and I'm going to glue this inside of here, so our gnome will even look more like a gnome. So I have to find the right place, because if I do it this way, I don't think I really like this. So I do a little bit, couple of the fur above, and then I'm going to glue it inside of here. So a little bit this, but that's, of course, this is my privilege, so you don't have to do it. You can do anything you like. If you like it a little bit different, it's also fine too. I always say with DIY and crafting, you can do whatever you think is right, and just keep it in place for a couple of seconds, because it dries very fast, but you still need to keep it in place until it is dried up. And I know it takes a little bit of your time, but for everyone who enjoys to seeing how I really do it, I always do it this way, but you're free to skip forward. You see already, this is our nose. And now I want to distress my head, because for me it's a little bit too white. So I'm going to take my permanent marker and my brown to give it a little bit of the rustic head. And then we're going to do on top, we are going to do one of the black tops. So, but first we're going to distress it. You see already, this is our second gnome. He's also finished. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my permanent text marker. This is just a simple marker, so just go a little bit around the sides of your gnome head to give it a little bit of an accent. So you see, just keep it sideways, and just, I have to work away my faux for a little bit, so, and just go around the sides just to give it a little bit of an old feeling. So I will do the head, and then I'm show to you what I did. I did my distressing on the sides only, because I didn't want to have too much, but do as much as you like. What I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to give it a little bit of the Christmas feeling. So I'm going to take my greenery. I have always old picks of greenery. I have some little small ribbon and some couple of the red berries, also old pieces I always keep for years. So I always take everything apart and just keep it in a little bag, so I can get it out anytime I like. So I'm going to do some greenery on top of here, 3 pieces, 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 in the middle. Then I'm going to do some red berries, and with the girl I'm going to do a little bow in the black color. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, like I said, just glue one of my little greenery this way in the middle. I'm just gluing the other one on the other side against each other, so really close to each other, a little bit over each other, so you get a nice fitting to each other. And just again keep it in place for a little moment. And now we are going to do the top, and this one is a little bit short, because we don't want to have the short of the top too long. In a moment I will turn it around and show it to you. This one is dried up, so this is what I mean. Just 1 over here, 1 over here, and one smaller one in the middle. What I'm going to do right now, I hope I can do it upside down, upside down, taking one of the red berries and just glue it in the middle, keep it in place. And again another one. And you can use, I used red berries, but you can use blue one, green one, just whatever you like. The other one next to the other one, I show it to you. This is what I mean. And now the third one, and this one will be in the middle of the other one. So you get a nice 3-piece. I always like it to have 3 berries next to each other. You see, this is the top, and now I'm going to do a little bow under here. You see I have a little small bow, but I just made it the way you tie your shoes and just cut off the length you need. And I'm going to glue this under here. So this will be a girl. And I have to glue it under our greenery. And make a little shape inside of it. So I showed you a little bit better. Of course I am under the glue again, but don't worry. And now we get his beard a little bit above, so this way. And now I think already he looks so cute, and we still need to do the top. And you see both of our gnomes are finished. I love how they both turned out. If you imagine where we started with, it was a little bit of an experiment, but still we need to do, of course, get off our styrofoam balls and just glue it on top of our